Hillary Clinton's campaign crying foul over the FBI's latest document release, and they're not the only ones. Here to discuss is John Flannery, the former special counsel for the Senate and House Judiciary Committees, Matt Lewis, the author of Too Dumb to Fail, and constitutional attorney Paige Pate. Good to have all of you. John, listen, you got to get in with these guys because they'll just talk right over you, especially that Matt Lewis. So, John, I'm going to start with you. You're aghast at the actions of the FBI. Explain why.
Well, because it seems politically motivated. There's almost no other explanation. And it's sort of like the third time that he's done this. First, instead of just saying we don't have an investigation that's going to lead to charges, he then holds press conferences and discloses the investigation, a no-no for any prosecutor or any person who's concerned about civil liberties. Then, within 2 weeks of the election, he discloses that he's going to look at additional information, doesn't know what it is, doesn't know if it's relevant, but he's going to look at it. And now we have a data dump of almost empty pages on an investigation he failed to make. He was the one, Comey was the one who was investigating the pardons. And 15 years ago, he came up empty. I like prosecutors who only talk to us when they have a charge, a complaint, or an indictment. I don't understand prosecutors who release information during an election year unless they want to influence it. You would think that the Department of Justice, going back to Senator Stevens, which people thought was a politically motivated prosecution resulting in horrible misconduct charges, would not want to compromise the integrity of the Justice Department, but that's exactly what Comey has done in this case.
But you're
right
saying,
now.
I want to know why you think that Comey's relationship with Rudy Giuliani, who is his old boss, could have something to do with this.
I think Rudy may have been a bad model for his behavior. I mean, Rudy is the one who went and arrested people in Lower Manhattan and put them in cuffs. Totally unnecessary. If you talk to any of these people and said, I want you at my office tomorrow to face this multi-count felony indictment, they would have been there. He did it for media and coverage because of hubris. Comey has become the worst aspect of Rudy.
Matt, what do you think of that?
Well, look, I think Comey was put in a tough situation. Hillary Clinton sets up this personal server.
That's a scathing assessment, though, Matt, by the way.
She deletes 33,000 emails. Then it comes out that Anthony Weiner on his computer, hundreds of thousands, who knows how many thousands of emails of Huma Abedin's are on there. So now Comey, who testified before Congress,
which
now
he shouldn't have done,
has an obligation to go and tell them that, in fact, more information has come out. So I think he was in a tough situation. The other thing that I think complicates this is you have Republicans and Democrats who have really undermined trust in our institutions. So in the case of Donald Trump talking about the rigged election, I think was very irresponsible. In the case of Hillary Clinton, her husband, Bill Clinton, meeting on that tarmac with Attorney General Lynch, I think also, sort of adds to it. So it's a very bad situation. We can't deny that.
Matt, what do you think of the files being released today, though, 15 years after the investigation, though, of Mark Rich?
So the FBI says that they were responding to a FOIA request and that there's no hanky-panky going on. It's very bad timing. We could, I think, agree.
You can understand why Democrats are going, what?
Oh, yeah. Why didn't they wait?
Doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Why didn't they wait 6 days?
Go ahead, Paige.
Why didn't they wait 7 days?
Well, I mean, understand with a FOIA request, it's not discretionary. It's not like Comey decided, I want to have these documents out there, so I'm going to put them on Twitter. They're required to release those documents after they get a legitimate request.
They have 20 days, and that's circumscribed in a variety of ways. We don't know when the charge was made, and they can extend that time for a whole variety of reasons.
But they have to produce them. Do you not agree with me? They have to produce them.
They produce them on November the 9th.
So
why
wait
are they
until after the election? Now that sounds like you're trying to influence the election.
No,
why have the election determine when you're going to release documents that
tell
you're legally
America that this
required to
investigation
release?
wasn't prosecuted. Tell them that there was a finding they didn't have enough information to go forward. Tell them that Comey is the guy who was investigating this and he couldn't find anything.
I find it incredible to believe that Comey is orchestrating some campaign here to affect
Why do you
Clinton's
find it
chances
incredible?
of
You got
winning the
3
White
data
House.
points.
He is part of the Obama administration that she was a part of, supported by both Republicans and Democrats for a long, long time. I think Comey is the only individual, perhaps in all of Washington right now, who's acting in a nonpartisan basis, and I applaud that. I think we need more people like Comey,
you do.
not
Did you
less.
applaud it? Did you applaud it when he said he didn't have enough information that Hillary had done anything wrong with emails?
I applauded his character for saying that. Yes, I did.
Oh, you
absolutely.
did. Well,
absolutely.
I think that his problem was that he couldn't handle just saying we don't have evidence to go forward with the prosecution. So that's why he wanted to talk about all the details and compromise what he did. Now, within 2 weeks, the FBI has twice tried to affect this election, and that is wrong. I think 3 strikes and you're out, even in the World Series. And I think here we would be best served if he were to resign or not continue in office when this election is over.
Think about that for a second. If he really wanted to affect the election, he could have just kept the investigation going. He never had to announce he was not going to charge Hillary Clinton.
He didn't have
could have continued to look at it. There's no reason he had to announce back then.
Do you think, Matt, do you think that the criticism that he got, especially from Republicans, had anything to do with any of this?
I don't think so. Look, this is a cynical business. We're a week before the election, and I think partisans on both sides, obviously, we all get fired up right now. But this is a man who even President Obama is standing behind today, talking about his character, talking about his integrity. I think this was thrust on him. He had thought this was over with, and then it turns out that Anthony Weiner, the husband of Huma Abedin, who happens to be the top aide of Hillary Clinton, is allegedly sexting with an underage girl. It turns out that the FBI discovers in the process of that investigation that emails are on that laptop device. How could Comey have planned that?
But they're also investigating, according to the Times, they were investigating Paul Manafort's connection to Ukraine. They were also investigating possibly connections, with the Clinton Foundation. They chose not to do that because they were concerned that it would influence the election. So what's different about this particular situation?
To me, I think what's different is that Director Comey had gone before Congress and testified, and he had an obligation to alert heads of these committees that this new information had developed. That wasn't the case.
No, he had no
in the
obligation.
Manafort situation.
John, go ahead.
He had no obligation to do that. He was wrong to do it in the first place. And because you do something wrong doesn't mean that you can do it again in a different context. This suited his aim. He obviously can't get over the fact that he couldn't pin whatever he thought, he suspected the Clintons had done. And 15 years after the fact, we have this dump from an unknown FOIA request. Judicial Watch didn't make it. Who made this request? Yeah. How can you live in this world today and not say that these 3 events don't reflect a pattern of misconduct by a public official who is defying Department of Justice rules not to interfere in an election and revealing information from an investigation for no good reason?
I got to run. I'll have you guys back. Great panel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Up next, Dirty